What's up, YouTubers? Jose Quiñones, the CNC dude here with my welder, and some incredibly awesome news. It is pregnant. You heard that right. It is pregnant. I'm expecting the delivery any moment now. In fact, oh my goodness, it's already happening. YouTubers, I'm ready for the procedure. Come on, Mama Mig, give me one big push. Oh, something is wrong, guys. I'm gonna have to do a cut. All right, you're doing great, Mama. I said, oh, I can see the buttons. Please help me out here. Whoa, I can see the buttons. It's coming. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, look at that. Oh, Mama Mick, you did fantastic. Look at that. You had a plasma cutter. So we got the cutting machine, the air compressor filter, which is already attached on the machine. We have the cutting torch and the accessories, the ground clamp, a gas hose, a hose clamp, straps, and the operator manual. All right, YouTubers, you have to admit this is probably one of the best unboxings you have ever watched, huh? Okay, cheesiest. I got it. Sorry for trying to be funny. We have a few things to plug in. Let's get busy with that. We gotta remove this protection here. The ground clip goes on this side. Turn it until it cannot go any further. The torch has 3 connections. This is the switch. Make sure you follow polarity, although in reality there is only one way to connect it. And finally, I believe this is the positive terminal with the air. I'm going to start with 110 volts. I'm going to use the adapter. And now we can remove the protective film. All right, YouTubers, I am re-recording this section of the video because as I was editing this footage, I realized this camera wasn't pointing in the right direction, so shame on me. Now, when I recorded this for the first time, I was literally powering this puppy up for the very first time, so I had no idea what to expect. Today, as it turns out, I have already used the machine and I have done some cutting, so my experience is a little bit better. So I am not going to fake it, trying to make you believe that I have never powered up this guy. I will explain to you what I know today, what I still don't know, and we'll go from there. So there is a switch back here. That's how you turn the machine on. It's already plugged in to 110 volts, so you have a choice. You can plug into either 110 or 220. It is at 110. So when I flicker the switch, the machine powers up, initializes it takes a few seconds, and then it's ready. You're going to hear the fan come on. That is normal. I'm not sure exactly what it is cooling because it turns out that it is incredibly cool, but whatever it is going to run for a little bit and then it's going to shut off. A few things noting here, or a few things worth noting here. This is the amperage setting, so right now it is set to 25 amps. If I were to press the button, it would try to cut at 25 amps. Of course, you can change this with the knob. This is the current knob. And with 110 amps, it can go from 20 amps to 35. The experiments that I did, you know, obviously the higher the current, the better it cuts. The higher the pressure too. I'm going to talk about pressure in a little bit. The better it cuts. Be warned, however, that with 20 amps circuits, which is what I have on 120, you can cut at 35 amps, but don't get too aggressive. Don't leave it on for too long. The instructions clearly state that the machine is a 60% duty cycle machine, so every 10 minutes you're supposed to cut for 6. I went crazy with it, and it just trigger the breaker. Now, 35 amps on a 20 amp circuit, you really can do like seconds. So I was running at 25 and I was just cutting, and I trigger the breaker as well. So that means that probably you can run more at 20 amps, but to be honest, at 20 amps, you're not gonna cut a whole lot of thick stuff. So I was able to cut some thick steel with 110, but not incredibly thick. I think that was like, I'll show you later. So I just want to continue showing you here what else matters. Now, this 0 here, that's the PSI. It is reading 0 right now because the air is not connected. So let me connect it and show you what that looks like. The compressor is set to 50, I believe. So you connect the air from the rear. There is a regulator. So if I were to lower, but of course, it's already pressurized, so it's not going to do much. I would need to ignite the torch to clear, but as you can see, it's changing. So you can regulate your pressure with the regulator on the back. So with this button here, you can select the mode. Let me see, there is a bit of here we go. You can see the mode. So that one is cutting. The second one is called grid cutting. I'm not sure which one is that. I think that's when you have like interrupted cuts. I could be wrong, so my apologies on that. And the last one is descaling. I have no idea what descaling means, to be honest. I will have to play with that and determine. But I already played with the cutting mode and it worked well as explained. Depending on how much available power you have, you'll be able to cut different thicknesses. But I was able to cut lots of different things which I didn't expect to be able to cut. Next one we have here, what is it called? Preferences. So this is truly another style of operating the machine. You have 2T, 4T, PT, and PA. Now, 2T is when you press the button and basically it's cutting as long as the button is pressed. 4T, I didn't try it, but I think it's when you press the button and then you can release it, but it's stuck cutting and then you have to press it again to release it. The other two modes I haven't mucked with. The last button is PSI or MPa, so it tells you in millipascals or, oh yeah, that's the third mode is it just opens up the air and lets it run. But PSI, pound per square inch, megapascals, I think is what it is. And then the last one just opens up the regulator to some airflow. So as you can see here, the pressure went down because it basically allowed air to run on the regulator, just stabilize. Now, if I increase the pressure, you should be able that it's going to go up to whatever you wanted, so 45, 50. Obviously, the higher the pressure, what I noticed was that when I was cutting, if the pressure was too low, so you're basically pushing the metal down with air and plasma. And if the pressure, because you're literally melting the metal, right? If the pressure is not too high, the metal is just going to coalesce into this blob, and you're not going to get the cut that you want. So if you increase the pressure, you're basically pushing the metal away, and now you get with your cut. Do note that that also means that your curve is going to be thicker because you're like blowing thicker bursts of air, if you know what I mean. So you're going to get a bigger, longer, wider cut with the higher pressure. But when I didn't have enough pressure, I was kind of cutting, but then it would recoalesce again, and it wasn't the cut that I was looking for. So you'll have to play with those settings depending on the thickness and the material that you're cutting, if it's mild steel, aluminum, stainless, whatever. That's what it is. But very simple stuff, and it was just as simple as there is a protection here, so you lift the protection, press the button. I'm not going to press it now because the arc is going to come off. And then you just start cutting. One of the problems that I have always had with plasma cutting is that I don't see what I'm doing. So unfortunately, my cuts are not very clean, but I'll show you a few in a little bit. Last thing I want to explain, so when I was recording this for the first time, I turned the machine off with the button up here, and we get this E31 message. So I was like, wow, E31, what happened here? There's something wrong. All right, that's actually important. Now, in order for you to understand what that message means, there is this thing called, what is it called? A manual. Yeah, it's made of paper. It has these intriguing symbols with ink. And apparently, if you read through it, you learn a thing or two. What do they call it? Read the effing manual. So E31 is the fault flag. It's like an error code. It's not an actual error. It's just a notification that there is an under voltage condition. What matters about this E31 message is that, let's say you flicker the power off and you flicker on again real quick. That's a problem. So what the manual tells you is once you switch the machine off, wait 10 seconds. And then the machine is going to turn off. But if you do not wait the 10 seconds, the E31 flag is going to stay asserted and the machine is not going to operate. So that's the important aspect of this E31. So whenever you turn your machine off, make sure you wait the 10 seconds and then you can turn it on again whenever you want. So that's it about how to use the machine. It's literally one button I mean, there's some buttons in here, I don't know, but really simple stuff. I mean, that is probably the only science in here is select the right current and the right pressure for depending on the material that you want to cut. And then make sure you remember to use your machine with a 60% duty cycle. It's a small machine, so this is not meant to be cutting all day long. I mean, this is closer to toy than to industrial grade. Okay, so if you want to be cutting all day long, you're gonna need to pay a little bit more than $300. But that's it. And then, of course, make sure that you're connected to a power source. Your outlet can handle the current because, yeah, I was tripping my breaker too often. What I think I'm going to do, I'm going to create an extension to use the 220 because then the 220, I have a 220 30 amp, so then I should be able to do 30 amp without issues. At least I think the machine is going to get hot because, of course, it's telling me it's 60% duty cycle, but I would not expect the breaker to trip at 230 volts with 30 amps. Let me show you a few cuts just so we can close on the video and you can get an idea what is it that you can do with this machine. Again, it's a cost-effective machine for tinkerers, but I wouldn't expect this to be an industrial chop plasma cutter. All right, so let me show you what is it that I had in mind that I was going to do with this, and I'm not giving up on yet. It's just that I have not been able to penetrate the thick spool on this compressor. So I have like 4 of these. These are all busted compressors that I acquired on some sale. Somebody was dumping a bunch of tools, and I got duped into buying them all because the guy said, oh, these tools, anybody with knowledge can fix them out. I bet it's only a switch. Those tools were like mega busted. So luckily it was only $100 and I have like piles and piles of junk that I'm hoping I'll be able to do at least something with them, but they're mostly junk. So including this compressor. But I'm thinking, what if I can cut these guys in half and make like these cool looking like robot head lamps? That's what I'm envisioning. So I started cutting and I went through hoops trying to separate these guys, and I'll put some shots so you can see how awful this is looking because this is pretty thick. Of course, it's a compressor, so you don't want this thing to blow up. It's pressurized 125 to 150 psi, so this is not sheet metal like the one that you have on your car, and probably where I'm going is reinforced. So I was able to cut through, but this is where I tripped my breaker because I was like going too aggressive with it. And of course, this is how I noticed that if the pressure was not too high, the metal will recombine. And I went through the whole thing, but it's not separated precisely because all of that steel would just basically reblob itself together. And I bet that another pass and it will be complete. But I'm wondering if this is better done with an actual like cut-off wheel, and then the other features I can use the plasma cutter. We'll see. I'll keep on playing with it. Also, when I go to 220 volts, that may also help. But let me show you some other things, some other thicknesses. And listen, I have to admit, I'm not planning on cutting battle chip armor with this, right? I realize this is, like I said, this is closer to a toy than to an industrial piece of equipment. But you know, if I can cut a piece like this, because I mean, this is something you can easily cut with a cut-off wheel. So I was just playing with this to see if you can cut it. But I have to imagine in real life, I'm not going to cut this with a plasma cutter. But I wanted to see how thick could I cut. And so as you can see, this was cuttable with 110 volts nonetheless. So obviously, with 220, you will be able to cut stuff like this. And this is that piece that I cut from an I-beam, so you can get an idea of how thick this material is. And I think I was able to do this with mostly a single cut, but I had to go into the corners and finish it up. But the fact that I was able to do this with 110 is quite mesmerizing. Of course, everything else is incredibly short, thin material, so there is no question you should be able to cut stuff like this. And this is one of those 2x2 square tubings. I just went to town with it and cut it multiple times. Of course, the biggest problem with a plasma cutter, with a manual plasma cutter, is that, you know, how good is your pulse, right? So there are attachments that you can use to get better cuts, but the way that I plan on using this is for creating ornaments like this. So this is not going to be for anything precision. This is not going to be for cutting anything that will be welded afterwards. You know, like if you want to cut angle iron or some other tubing, that's probably done better with an actual saw. Well, there you go, YouTubers. This is my review for the Arc Captain plasma cutter. Maybe I should have said this since the beginning. I'm not an Arc Captain employee. I didn't get paid. They didn't send this to me. I bought this out of my own money because I had good experience with the MIG, and I wanted to see whether the plasma cutter was going to be a good enough piece of equipment, and for what I'm going to use it, it will probably do very well. So, I mean, but you have to admit, they look like mother and son. That's why I did that silly joke at the beginning. But there you go. I hope you find this informative. I have plenty of other tools that I'll be documenting in the upcoming weeks. So stay tuned for more. I do want to thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, and I'm going to see you on the next one.